Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with the second part of our darling junk journal. Now this is using a digital download, and it is called Darling, and the digital download is by Antique Paperie. I got it right. I usually say Authentique Paperie. I don't know why. I cross over into pattern paper. Not quite sure why. But this is a download that she's put together. It is absolutely beautiful. For our first part, we gathered up our papers. We did not add coffee dyed papers. We added different colors. We added, of course, the digital downloads. We did add some music sheets. We did add some book pages with my hinges with the paper bags. And so forth. I used some pearl cotton thread to sew this together because I just am in love with the vibrancy of these colors within the digital download. Now, you can still tea dye and coffee dye, but when you do that, and again, my opinion, when you do that, you could dull these colors. I would dull down these beautiful yellows and oranges and golden yellows, and I didn't want to lose that. It would look absolutely gorgeous though if you did coffee or tea dye these papers. It would just accent them in a different way. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to add some laces and we're going to add some of these other things. Not everything needs to be coffee dyed. And again, it's your project. So as I say I'm going to be saying before all of my videos when I do these, long video, Gabby, I talk a lot, I walk you through the process. This is a step-by-step tutorial. We may get through a few pieces of ephemera in this because that's what this part 2 is all about, the ephemera. There may be some breaks because again, I can't put my sewing machine up here. And plus I don't want my camera to shake too much. So, okay, just getting all of that out of the way, then this way you don't have to make a comment. I'm just saying. All right. So, I'm going to set the book aside and I'm just going to make ephemera. Now, of course, I've got my vintage photo here. Of course, I need to grab some things. So, let me real quick I'm going to grab some of my laces, beads, and just some bases and book pages. So give me 1 second. I'll keep gabbing, but I'm just going to be walking away from the phone. Okay, so remember ephemera. Wait a minute, let me just grab this first. I'll put that off to the side there. Just let me grab one more thing. Let's see, what do I want? I'm gonna grab those. And just one more thing. Okay, here we go. So remember, your ephemera can be anything that you want. All right, it can be an envelope, it can be a pocket, it can be a ticket. And one of the things that I enjoy when you have a digital download and when you go for a kit, you have your pages, your full pages. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use these. You know, I'm one to tear sections from this and so forth. So when I print out a digital download kit, such as this, where you have the pages as one download and then you have the add-ons that could go with it, I tend to print the pages twice. So I have 2 copies of each page. One set, of course, is for the signature that we put together. And then the other one is for when I want to tear it, cut things out, cut shapes out, and so forth. When you get into your add-ons, for her, she added tickets. She had squares. She had rectangles. She had a couple pockets, or envelopes, envelopes. These awesome guitars, or violins. These are violins. Some strips. which are great for belly bands, if that's what we want to do with them. Circles. The dressmaker form. These are our thread wrappers. And then just some extra background sheets as well. So they were the add-ons. And again, I'll have the digital download linked down below. So I did cut some, I'll get this out of my way. I did cut some of the ephemera up. So I just have the pieces, and I just put them in a plain envelope just to hold them. So I've got my circles, and I'll just spread them out. I did cut up the ATC cards because they are great journaling cards that you can use. Here are some of, I did do one strip of the tickets. Here's the squares. Again, here's more of the rectangles. Now, she also had scan strips. So we're going to do something a little different with those. I got those cut, actually. These are the belly bands. And then here are some more strips as well. So we've got different sizes. I did cut one of the violins. I just think that is just so interesting. And then the dress form, and then one of the thread, and then of course one of the pockets. So I'm going to grab my glue, and we're going to do the first thing. So first thing I'm going to do is definitely fold up my envelope. I mean, now, why not? That is just first and foremost right there. She provides the lines. And when I fold them, I just go a little bit beyond the line so that the line is tucked in as we are folding these pieces up. And then we'll get this other side. So again, what I do love, you know, it all depends when it comes to junk journaling. I do get asked many questions, you know, which way should you go? Again, I think that's a personal choice, actually. I do like the fact that I do like the style of vintage. So I do have stamps that fall into that. So I do like to, I mean, I kind of make a vintage style junk journals. I find I have difficulty finding vintage, true vintage ephemeras and everything else. So I do enjoy making my own, repurposing something. Now I'm just trimming off this edge because, of course, you know, when we fold it, nothing's ever perfect, and that's okay. We can trim and just have fun with it. And this is like a coin envelope, actually. All right, so now I'm going to ink up the edges. I like the way when we fold that, you see the word antiques. So something very simple to put together. And then I'm just going to do that. And then what I'm going to do, just going to take one of these, put it in upside down, and just go down the edge of that. I'm okay that I'm on the other side of that. I'm going to be gluing it down anyway, so we're good. All right, and this I'm actually going to just grunge that up just a little bit. So there we go. We have our first piece of ephemera. Now something like this, what I will actually do with this is to grab, you know, I could either take it and fold it over the page like that, and just grab a paper clip. That's how I will attach that into the book. It just depends on the page that I would be looking to do that with. Okay, so let's look at another piece. And actually, I want to look at this. And I want to look at this. No, this one. And this one. So you can see you've got 3 bands that are here. So if you saw one of my previous videos, you know, what do we do with those extra book pages? I'm just moving stuff out of my way here. You know, what do we do with extra book pages that, you know, that we have? Well, there is a lot, obviously, that we can do with those, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is kind of that technique, but show how these would look different ways. So what I want to do is I want to tear off an edge from this. And again, when I tear off an edge, I am using a metal ruler because I cannot master the plastic tearaway. I'm going to admit it. I'm hoping there's a group somewhere out there. I'm going to fold this over just so that there's an edge going on here. I do like to use my paper creaser so that these edges stay very crisp. Now I want to see what the thickness of this is to this piece. All right, so I'm going to fold over one more time. And again, same thing. Now I'm not gluing anything yet because there's something that I am absolutely curious about now at this point. I'm going to fold this in half. And what I also want to do is I want to give it a rough edge. So I'm just going to come in with my ruler and take off some of that edge. You can see I'm just trimming that away. Just want it to be light. So I just need to make sure that I'm below my metal blade. Okay, and it's okay that it went crooked. You can see that went really crooked on that one. So I want to see what this would look like if I came in this way. And now the next thing I'm going to do is come in. And I want to fold that. And then I'm going to come in on this side. I like the double layer that I have going on here. But I'm also keeping these pieces together so that I know what is what. All right, so now if I take this and put this here, and then if I turn that around, I can just shift my pages the way that they should be. Because what I'm actually going to create That's what I'm going with. So now I'm going to take this, tear that edge off. I'm going to come in here and do the same thing. Take that edge off. All right, so now we need to ink. Lots of inking. And right now I'm just going to worry about the edges. I'm not worried about the fold. So that's one. And I know this is for the outside. And you can see by doing them separately, I'm getting that double layer look. And that's what I'm looking for. This one's just got a different double layer look. And now I'm going to come across this one. And now we're going to put this here. So I want to see. And the other goal that I have when I do this is I like the look of a book page. I love the look of that print back there. But I am looking to also, these pages are from 2 altered books that I'm going to attempt. You know, I've taken 2 of my books and I've torn all of those pages out. And again, I didn't film that because that's a lot of ripping. But I will show what I did and how I'm going to glue the pages. So they're coming. But all of these pages that I have, I don't have time to read these pages. I want to make sure that if I put this in my journal, I am not going to offend somebody if that book has some explicit language. Just saying. It's something that I guess get a little bit... So I want to make sure that we can see it, but we just can't, you know, make out a word. Like I can see most. But even still, if I close that down, you're really not. So that's kind of like my premise when it comes to that. If that's what I'm looking to do. I know, it's strange. All right, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to put these layers together. Now, I'm just going to focus in the areas inside the fold because I'm okay if these are loose and get torn up. I like that look, to be honest. I think it does a lot for the piece. I'm actually going to refold this just to give it a little bit more of a difference going on there. And that's why I don't, you know, sometimes I'm like, okay, let's glue everything. Well, you know, no. I want to make sure that this stays open. Now I'm going to put that down. Again, a little glue. Need to remove that from the inside or else I won't be able to close her up. Now you could also make each of these pockets if you wanted to. I mean, you could actually think about that. All right, now I'm going to come in and put that there. And now I'm going to come in with this one that I started with and just add a little bit. To me, the tears and the rips and everything just make the journal fun. And again, that's my opinion. So because of this piece, now what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to find a section here, and this is the one that I'm going to go with, because what I can do is I can take this. Okay, well now that's just eerie. That's perfect. Didn't even measure that, and now I'm perfectly right in on that one. What I've done is, and what's created here, is just a band for this page. Now, what we can do is we can put glue on the top and the bottom so that a pocket could be created on this side. I think this side's too thin, but you can still do that. So that's what we will do. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to put glue on the top and the bottom. I'm going to lift up this page and tuck her in. We're going to close that down. And now I will do the same thing. Put glue on the top and the bottom of this one, and then just close her down. So while we've made this functional, and what I mean by functional, we've made it so that we can tuck a pocket. Now you could keep each one of these open, you know, because you could have a tuck here, you could have a pocket here, or you could have a pocket there. But to me, I would be putting papers in here, you know, or big tags to hold in there so that they don't tip out like that. It's just something that I've noticed. But right there, we've created a form of decoration. Now, something else that we can do when it comes to this is there was something that I just recently saw. I forget whose it was. I'm not sure if it was Tracy Fox or Artie Mays, to add paper clips and so forth. So that's going to be something that we'll be showing as well. Okay, so we have our band, which is really 2 pockets. We've dressed up this page. We still have plenty of area to journal on, but we've just added that pop of color when it comes into this. Now, for something like this, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take some of this off. Same thing, I'm going to take some of this side off as well. And yes, as I'm doing that, I am making it not as wide as what it was, but you can see the size of the strips that I am taking off. And again, we're going to do that onto the top and the bottom as well. All right. So again, I'm going to grab another book page. Get myself organized over here. And what I actually want to do is tear it. Yes, I saved that. And I'm going to take all of each of these sides off. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to fold that over. only going to fold this over right here, or right to there. And I want to put that right there. So now I've got this edge that comes in. I want to use my creaser. And I want to make sure that I ink everything up. Okay, and I'm going to do this as well. Now, what I also want to add to this, and I'm good with putting just some glue down on this so that this sticks. And I definitely want to get some glue down on that so that that sticks for right now. But I want to add a strip to this. Let's see. I want to add something flat. And here is my something flat. And I do want it to come up and down just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. And what I actually want to do, I'm going to see something here. So what I'm creating is like a belly band. But it's going to be a different style of a belly band. Okay, that's exactly what I want to do. All right, so now I need to get my Fabri-Tac. And one of my followers, Robin, got me this. I have been seeing these. These look awesome. So, okay, we're going to give this a try. I'm loving this. Thank you. So awesome. Happy mail. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that does come out so much easier. So what I put in there is my Fabri-Tac. I do love my Fabri-Tac. Now, what I'm also going to do, though, just going to put a strip of paper because I made a mistake here. I put Fabri-Tac all the way up, and I didn't want to do that. But that's okay, because I'm going to take that. We'll tear that off. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to put Fabri-Tac on the edge here. And I just want to fold that over. Now again, I'm not worried about this side. All right, and then now I want to put this right on top of that because I'm going to love the way that it you know what? I actually want to cut that in half. Oh yeah. This is the beauty of a digital kit, but it's also the beauty, and yes, I say that, it's the beauty of anything. I mean, again, we have all of these wonderful designers that create the items that they create. Now I'm going to real quick look at this because I do see lots of words there. I'm in the clear because I want this to sit here. And I am going to use my Fabri-Tac for this just because I'm going over that lace. And I'm going to put this here. You can see that I'm straddling that. And I'm going to put that down like that. Okay. Okay, first of all, this is awesome because we do not have the explosion that happens on the top of that bottle. So Robin, thank you. This is awesome. I'm singing. Now I just got to find something that I can put in the top of that so that air doesn't get in. So I used one of my paper clips. Okay. So, and I'm sure I could have used the top of the original bottle. So this is what we have here. So this I like. I'm liking this, that I have that, because there's something that I can do with that. So if we look, and again, we just page through our journal, and I look to say, you know what, this is what makes me happy. This is where I want that to go. It'll hit me. What I want to do with this is put this in the center, but I want this to sit right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my Fabri-Tac, because again, because of the top, okay, and the Fabri-Tac does move quicker in this bottle to get to where you're squeezing it out. I'm just saying. What everybody has been saying is correct. So I want this to sit here. I'm just going to offset it just a little bit. So I've put glue along the top, and I've put glue along the bottom. If somebody should have some notes or anything like that, they'll be able to just tuck them in. And what do I mean by that? Let me show you. Hold on. So I love to do folded papers. There's a video that I did before where I just take some coffee stained, I cut it in half, I fold it up, and I just accent it. I mean, I could now just simply take that and put that right there, and it's just going to hold very nicely in the journals. Or maybe the recipient has a piece of paper that they just jot their information down. They can now just set that down in there. When I close this, I now have a piece that's sticking up where I'll be able to add my charms and jewels and everything else, because I do like lots of things hanging off my journals, whether it's ribbons or strings and charms and everything else. I just love a lot of things that hang out, whether it's off to the side, tabs, or anything like that. May not make sense, but it does to me. Okay, so we've got that in there. And I think that is really, really cute. So let's look at, of course, I always love to add tags. And you can see here, if I just take this envelope, I'm just going to fold it in half. It's my one that's holding the extras. You can see by me just putting that there, you've got to have a thick piece. If you have something that's thin, it will tip out. So I do like to have a long tag. So let's look. Perfect. Let's make a couple tags. All right, let me unfold this because I'll forget. All right, let's grab just a couple things. Okay. So these are just some bases that I have. You don't have to use these. I get these very inexpensive. These are for other projects that I was doing. So I'm just continuing to use these up. But I do love these as a base to create. And then I also have some, which I think I'll pull in these, you know, just taking some of those paper bags that I have and just pushing them down. You can see I've done some, I did some ink smushing on these, but I'm not crazy about the colors. So these I'm actually going to cover up. But the first thing I want to do is just rub over this so that I can get that line to be accented, because this is actually the side that they will be able to journal on. But I love, you know, being able to, and yes, this ink, we have to understand when it comes to distress ink, it is water reactive. If we have oils on our skins, this ink will move. Now you can use an archival and you won't have that problem, but I think this travels with me. You know, I think secretly it jumps in my purse wherever I go. All right, so what we want to do, I'm going to do some hand tearing now. And I think I want a bigger piece. Yes. You get to hear me tear papers. Because I do want to cover this up. Now what I can also look at are these background papers that she provides as well. So to take that, and I will always go over the tag only because I'll just trim it. I don't worry about in my book. And I need my glue stick. Love my glue stick. I worry about the edges to ink because I don't know if they will be shown or not. I don't worry about the edge of the tag. Because I know I'll ink around those edges eventually. Now, I do like that edge. Again, even though I didn't like the whole thing of the ink smushing, I do like that part showing right there. So I'm going to keep that. And I'll trim in a moment. I would like to then take this ink on this edge. I love layers. Huge into layers. I love collaging. Just to have those three. This is light enough that writing can still be going on. And I'm going to take this right down this side. And I just want it on the edge. All right, and now I will trim that. Come up. Okay. So love how that looks, that gradient. So now I'm going to focus back on this side. And again, just taking, like, here's that strip there. I mean, why not put that there? So I can look at doing that. And again, you're keeping the pieces tied in together. That's exactly what you're doing when it comes to this. I'm going to add my glue stick to this. I'm going to take that right down. Again, just a hint of that edge. I'll put that there. Or I could even look at and go across the top here, because that can go right there. Put that there. We can put that there. And then what I would just look for, see if I can find it. Of course not. I love different textures. I love different feels. So just to take that, place that there, and then this would sit here, and then that could sit there. I've got that texture going on. And yep, we come in just to put it on the edge, and that's all I'm doing. I am taking this tool and I'm just brushing up and down like that. Let's use the Fabri-Tac. I just have to get used to, I don't have to push so hard on that. That is awesome though. That is just so much fun. So much fun. I do like the fact that it's hanging over. Again, texture. It's all about the texture. Once I add fabric down to anything, I will continue to use my Fabri-Tac because it will go on. I will go over that. Now you could have made this a tuck too. I could have just glued here and here. I'm going to put that there. You know what? I am real quick going to grab this. I want to see. I'm going to try to do something here. Let's see if I can get that in there. By me putting this in here, I'm stopping it from gluing down onto the page. So I'm actually gluing it on top onto that digital download. And now I'm just going to try to tear around. See, you can do things after the fact. You just got to have more fun with it, that's all. And now come in, add that. So what I created here is a tuck. So now we've got a tuck on there. Now what I'll also do is just manipulate that so that it sits down just a little bit. Yeah. Now if I didn't put glue here, that could have been a band, but here we can take a smaller tag and just put that there. Now I need to trim, and it's just up here I need to trim. And now I'm going to ink around the edges just to make it complete. And it'll tie everything in. Okay, there's that. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to take this I'm going to fold that over. And I am going to glue this. Going to do that. And I am going to pinch that closed. Make sure it's as straight. I think it adds some good color. And grab my hole punch. That, and now I am going to add my reinforcers. I just buy these by the bulk. I get them on Amazon or my local office supply, and I can make them any color I want. Oh, and you know what would be awesome? Okay, I want to change those up. I'm so used to using the vintage photo, but again, the beauty of the white reinforcements is you can make them any color you want, which is awesome. So I'm going to grab some here, and I think for this, I really want to hit a vibrant color. Now, I can use my alcohol markers here, but of course, to see the colors that's always a challenge. All right, let's see here. Oh, love that one. So remember, always do 2. I'm just going by the color on the... Oh, this is too pinky. Too pinky. I need something more purple-y. Bingo. I am loving that blue. I need to write these down. And that purple's not it either, but I am loving that blue. All right, so I'm going to pull that off. That blue pulls out that. That's why I'm loving that. So again, you may like the vintage photo ones there. That's fine, but this just gives it a pop of color. Again, to come off, and again, you don't need to use these alcohol markers. You can use Sharpies. Sharpies can be used, absolutely. So, and that's our tag. Where are we? Okay, we're right about there. So let me push some things out of the way. We just push them off to the side, you know, so if you guys ever saw what was going on the other side outside the viewing of the camera, you would all be amazed that I'd be able to find anything. And that's why sometimes I can't. And I come out and call that. Can't find it because it's somewhere buried. I do want to make sure I don't lose these though. Now I'll do other videos as well until we do all of the ephemera. So there will be more of these coming. I'm just going to put those in the envelopes and my scraps because I keep my scraps for the most part. So I'm not sure how many of the ephemera videos there will be, but there will be more. So stay tuned. We'll just continue with these. So let's recap. Here is the first piece that, or not the first piece, that's the first piece that we made. Again, provided some of the envelopes. She provided 2 of them. I cut one out, completed it. You know, the beauty of this, I can sit here and just page through. And again, it's when a page hits me to say, you know what, this is where I want this to sit. And I would just take this. I could either put it this way, depending upon what it is. And here's one of my simple paper clips. And now that's into our book. We also created something that's sticking. There we go. Okay. Wasn't quite sure why that was sticking, but it doesn't matter. Oh, I know why. Okay, all fixed. So we created a shorter belly band, but also gave it a top so that we can hang charms, so that we can, you know, add some lace to it or some string, anything that we want to. And we have that here so that we can place, you know, items in that and it would hold. It's going to hold that piece if we wanted that to stick out like that. So this is just a shorter way, a shorter type of belly band that extends off the top. And we also created what I'll call an edger, a fold over the edge. But we've created pockets on both sides. And again, keeping something tall in mind, this fits in there very nicely. It's not going to fall out. That always concerns me when I do something like this. When it's that big, sometimes the items will just fall right out. They won't hold. It's not a true tuck. Tucks grab onto it. just like that does. And then of course we looked when we did this to create this tag. Now this tag, plenty of journaling. This is light enough to journal in this area here. But we've also created a tuck right there. So if we make a smaller tag or use one of the journaling cards, the ATC cards that are available in this kit, we are able to put that right in there. So it's like a pocket within a pocket. When I'm putting a tag in a journal like this, I try not to have too much coming off, but you can. Just having the strings come off that, it's just something that I enjoy. It looks like a big poof that comes out or poofs out the side, or anything else like that. So those are the pieces that we made. We've actually attached a couple of them straight away into the book. So I do hope that you enjoyed this. Again, these videos will continue. This is part 2. I'm not sure how many parts there will be, but there will definitely be more. So I do hope you enjoyed this to see what you can do with a digital kit. Remember, there's 3 of them that I'm doing right now. The first one's using scrapbook paper or a scrapbook collection. Maybe that's the type of paper that you enjoy and you don't want to get into the coffee dyeing. Maybe vintage is not your style. Just because even though vintage may not be your style, does not mean you cannot make a junk journal. It's not, doesn't always have to be vintage. I do not make vintage junk journals. Mine's are vintage style. And there is a difference. By using a digital download, you can coffee dye it. You can do all of those things. And I'm showing that when I'm putting together the Black Swan, which, wow, I love my sister, I think. Yes. So showing the different ways that you can sew your pages together or, create your pockets as you're creating the different covers and so forth, because that is a 3 signature style journal that I'm putting together and being put into a pre-made book outer part, whatever we want to call that. And then of course there's this one where, again, we could have some coffee dye into it. We may not. I didn't coffee dye any of the papers, but maybe you do have access to music sheets. Maybe you do have access to some books to create your hinge and so forth. Again, just different ways that you can create your junk journal if that's what you're looking to do. So I do hope you are enjoying these. I hope I gave you some ideas. Maybe I gave you some tips and tricks. I know I am constantly getting them whenever I watch YouTube. I should stop. There's just so many ideas, and I am absolutely loving, and I've got to get caught up on the Artie Mays and Tracy Fox. They did another collaboration with tags. They are doing, I think, 30 days of tags. This is awesome, and they are showing so many neat ideas. So please make sure you check that out if you haven't already. I know I'm going crazy over it, and already came up with some ideas. So keep watching. If you have any questions, please leave those down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, if the digital download and to her shop and to her channel, if she has one, will be linked down below for Antique Paperie. See, I didn't say it. Yay! She's got some beautiful designs in there, and I encourage you to check that out. Beautiful kits that are already put together for you. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. I hope you are continuing to stay safe and healthy as we continue through what I am referring to as the challenge, because that's what it is. It's a challenge. It's a struggle. But by all means, enjoy your day. I hope you have sunny weather. We finally do. And everyone, please get into your space or just sit outside. Do what you want today. But always remember what's most important for me. Always be creative. Till next time, guys.